Alright, hey guys, so today I'm going to be discussing the effect of the black pill in younger people. Now, I myself am only 19 years old, and I had fallen into black pill ideology really deep at some point, and every day, I would wake up with the same sense of hopelessness, the just really every negative emotion that comes with believing in the black pill can bring you. And it came to the point where I was so hyper focused on these quote unquote studies and you know, these posts that these black pilled people were making that I would ignore external reality to an extent. I was just so stuck inside my own head thinking about this stupid thing that is really biased, and I wouldn't necessarily say the entirety of it is wrong, but they have a wrong approach of sort of addressing the issues that they're talking about, and instead of improving themselves, they focus on the idea of, all right, well, it's over, might as well just give up and quit while I'm ahead, when in reality that couldn't be further from the truth. So let me get right into this. So let me give you guys a little bit of a background on where I exactly come from. In high school and everything, I was a very unattractive person. I had a very recessed chin. I had a lot of acne on my face. I was just not an appealing person to look at, no matter how much I tried to fit in or do anything. I was just, it couldn't happen for me. It just wouldn't, I wouldn't be able to fit in with certain crowds of people. And admittedly, yeah, that's because of my looks. There's no other reason as to why that would be the case. It is all looks. That is one thing about the black pill that is mostly true, is that looks do play a very important part in your perception of other people, or how people perceive you, so to say. So that part of the black pill is pretty true, and I think most of the people in the black pill are familiar with that concept. And if you're watching this video, you yourself are probably familiar with that concept. However, it doesn't end there. It does not end there at all. For me, like I said, this was during high school that I looked like this. This is during high school that I had these problems. And this video is sort of directed to people who are in that younger age range, maybe not even high school, maybe a little bit after high school, maybe even early 20s. But this video is really sort of directed at a more younger audience here. This is what I'm aiming at. So yeah, I mean, during high school, I wasn't good looking, and of course, I sort of fell into this mentality of hopelessness. I mean, not even necessarily the black pill. During the majority of high school, I think during all of high school, I didn't even know about the existence of said black pill. So, you know, I didn't really, I wasn't that deep into it, but I did have the sense of hopelessness and the quote unquote "it's over" mentality, without even having come across the black pill. So really, the black pill has been around before the entire term was coined anyway. So I mean, you can fall in that mentality without even having to experience or witness any of the content produced by the black pill. So what I did to remedy this little situation I had in high school of being inferior looking, of looking ugly, is I did some research on my own. This is actually known as looks maxing in the black pill community, but I didn't even come across it through the black pill community. I had come across it through just doing research. I'm in kind of a unique situation, as I did used to be a live streamer. Not necessarily a super popular live streamer, but I was averaging like 10 to 20 viewers per stream or something like that. So I did have some amount of viewer base, and a lot of them kind of criticize me for the way I look, and they always use the same sort of insult, like weak chin or what have you. And that kind of got me thinking. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, there's got to be a reason why I have a weak chin. I mean, both of my parents do not have weak chins, so it didn't really make sense that I would genetically inherit a weak chin. That just didn't make sense to me. So I kind of did some research around, and I came across this topic of mewing. And again, it's pretty much the same thing as looks maxing. At least falls under the looks maxing concept. So I came across these mewing videos, and I started following them religiously, right? And what had happened is I actually had become pretty decently attractive. I'm not gonna sit here and humble brag or what have you, but I'd like to think at this point I'm at least I would say around the range of a 6 or a 7, maybe. Yeah, I mean, you can't really judge yourself on the look scale too accurately, but that's how I would perceive myself. And what had happened is after high school, my family actually moved up to a different town about an hour and a half away from my hometown, and I had to find a job. I wasn't planning on going to school because I think it's a waste of money. And so I came across this job, this office job, and I go there, and of course I've been looks maxing for probably around like 8-9 months at this point, maybe even 10 months. Excuse me. Yeah, maybe even 10 months of mewing and chewing and doing everything sort of associated with looks maxing in terms of facial improvement. And yeah, I mean, it clearly paid off. Of course I still had the mentality of someone who was worthless, someone who wasn't gonna achieve anything, wasn't gonna ever even hold hands with a girl or do anything really, because I had never done that during high school. But that's changed a lot now, and let me tell you how. So I started working at this new place, and I immediately noticed that there were girls that were kind of flirting with me. Not super high key flirting, at least not right away, but pretty quickly they would make comments. Like, for example, I used to go to Dunkin' Donuts pretty often, and I would get myself one of those blue raspberry culottes they have, and I would bring that into the office after my break, and people, for example, one girl would come over and she'd be like, "Oh yeah, my ex-boyfriend used to drink those all the time," or whatever, just like making like subtle comments like that. And eventually that would progress into touching me, rubbing on my arms and shit. And I thought that was really weird for me. That was a very strange experience for me, because that had never happened to me before. And it was a very confusing state to be in. And on top of that, I had other girls who were flirting with me to an extent as well. I mean, I had this one girl, and she would, I would come in, I would sit down, and she would grab all my shit for me. She would print me out copies of whatever papers I needed to do my job. And I caught her staring at me on multiple occasions. She would sit next to me during meetings or breakfast time. The company I work for served breakfast and lunch, so yeah, she would sit next to me sometimes. And all this was super overwhelming, but even more so than that is I was dating a girl at this exact time that all this was happening too, and I was basically living out my dream, so to say, with that girl. I know that sounds dramatic, but I went out with this girl. I mean, I gotta hold hands with her, I gotta cuddle with her, I gotta make out with her and do all that. I mean, I could have even done more, but it was just so goddamn overwhelming at the time. I didn't even know what was happening. you know, because there's just so many things that I had missed out on, and then all of a sudden they're all coming together at once. Like everything's just attacking me at once. All these girls at once. Like what am I supposed to do? What's the logical thing to do? Do I go and date multiple girls at once? And of course that is the right answer, but you know, when you kind of fall for somebody for the first time, you don't really see that as an option. You kind of weigh out all the other girls, and you put whatever girl you're dating on top of all of them, which is not the right thing to do, mind you. But that's just a lesson you'll have to experience for yourself. Anyway, the whole point of this video is to sort of educate you and make you realize that things aren't as hopeless as you make them out to be. Like I said, all I did, you know, April of, I believe, 2018. Yeah, April of 2018. I was mewing. I was doing all this research. I was putting the effort in because I knew that I could not live a life where I had, you know, I was just going to be ugly the rest of my life. I didn't want to live an average life, or a below average life even. I wanted to be the best version of myself that I could be. And that's really the way you got to look at things. Excuse me here. Just ate. But that's really the way you got to look at things. A lot of these people who fall into this black pill mentality, you know, they find things to blame. And the truth of the matter is, if you fall deep into that mindset, even if you do achieve good results doing looks maxing, even if you get to a place where you feel you're comfortable at, or girls are flirting with you and doing all this, the truth of the matter is, if you surround yourself around that black pill mentality for long enough, you're going to, even despite all that progress, you're going to still fall into it. While I was dating this girl, while I was getting flirted with by all these girls, I was still on these black pill forums and still indulging myself into this nonsense that is extremely biased, and extreme view of how things are. And I'm not even saying truly that the black pill is wrong, but I think one misconception that people have when they're in the black pill is they think that there's this sort of soulmate, or that there's this girl that's gonna come up and pull them out of whatever shit they're going through and make them feel super good. And you know, when they get a girlfriend, their lives are gonna be fixed. Or maybe they're so deep into it that they don't even want a girlfriend because they think that they're all demonic, or you know, all this. But the fact of the matter is, the more time you spend browsing the black pill, the more time you indulge into that type of mindset, the worse off you're gonna be. Even if you do improve, you're still gonna have that mentality. You're still gonna feel like shit, feel like you're not good enough. But the important thing is, you gotta take whatever sort of external cues you're getting in the real world. If real world girls are flirting with you and you're actually achieving things that you would consider good in your real life, then there's no reason why you should continue thinking like that. It's idiotic and it's ridiculous. And unfortunately for me, I did fall into that, and I didn't end up dating any of the girls at my work because I was just so caught up in my own head that I couldn't even think straight, because I was just thinking about the black pill. I was thinking about how I couldn't be good enough. I was thinking about things like race, like you know, if my race came into play. Like for example, I'm white, but I was thinking that for some reason the minority of people had an advantage over me. with getting with girls over of my own race, when in reality, that doesn't really hold true at all. If you look at studies, if you look at all of that, I mean, the truth of the matter is, most of the time people want to date people of their own race. And for whatever reason, I was in a delusion where I thought that that wasn't the case. Like, the minority group of men were stealing away my, girls of my own race. And that is just an idiotic and absolutely chaotic mindset to get into. The whole reason I was brought on anyway was because of my constant browsing of websites like 4chan and R9K and stuff like that. Obviously that had some effect on me at that time. And the fact of the matter is that you gotta separate yourself from what you see online from what you see in reality. That's easier said than done. It will take time. It will take discipline. You need to get away from the websites, the compulsions to browse those websites, and just give up. And that's certainly not an easy thing to do. And this video isn't going to necessarily be your savior. You're not gonna listen to this and just believe what I'm saying, of course. So you actually have to do the work, and you have to, if you don't have a job, you gotta go get a job. If you don't have some sort of social life, you gotta go out there and build that social life. You gotta get that experience in. And one more point that I want to mention before I end this video is how we view, or how the black pill views women in a way, because they say that women are polyamorous, which means that they can or they'll choose to get with multiple men, do all this and all that. But really, us men are supposed to be doing the same exact thing. When I was dating that girl while I was working at that place and those girls were flirting with me, I should have dated all those girls that were flirting with me. I mean, I should have been dating as many girls as I could at that time. I shouldn't have placed all my eggs in this one basket of this one girl that I think is, oh, she's so cute, she's so pretty, all this. I mean, but there I was just placing all my eggs in that one basket, just expecting or hoping that that would work out over every other potential situation with other girls I could have been in. And I was just ignoring these other girls because I was so infatuated with this one girl. And then when that eventually didn't work out, I was just so fucked over it. And that's gonna be a lesson you need to learn for yourself, because yeah, even before I was dating that girl, I was watching videos about red pill videos, like, oh yeah, you shouldn't quote unquote simp over a girl, you shouldn't do any of these things, like you shouldn't make her your number one priority, you shouldn't place all your eggs in her one basket. But what do? I do exactly that, even though I knew better not to do that. And no amount of videos is going to make you learn that lesson. That's a lesson you got to go out there and learn for yourself, and it's going to be a very painful lesson, and it's not going to be an easy lesson to learn at all. But the sooner you learn that lesson and just accept that you should be dating multiple girls and not just one girl, the better off you'll be. And I'm not saying ditch monogamy. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying date multiple girls, and then if one of them really hits off, if you feel a spark with one of them, if you feel whichever one of those girls has the best chance of giving you a good relationship, then that's the girl you should go with. You shouldn't continue dating all these girls at once and just like pretending that the other ones don't exist or what have you. Um, you should just date all these girls and then pick the one that you think is going to be the most successful in the long run. And that's what women do, and that's what the black pill gets wrong about polyamory, is that they think that you go on a couple dates with a girl and that girl is automatically yours or whatever, or she's a hoe for dating all these other men at the same time as you, if you even know about it. But that is wrong. That is not true. And of course I thought the same way. Even when I was dating that girl, I thought the same way. And yeah, I messed up that because I was just so obsessed with her. I was so infatuated with her. I was sending her texts and acting like she was my girlfriend, when in reality that she really wasn't my girlfriend. We were just dating, but that's how I saw it in my mind at the time, and that's wrong. And I wish I could go back and sort of take back all those things I said to her and use the knowledge that I know now to do that, but I can't. So I mean, if people were in my position right now, some people would just be like, alright, fuck it, I'm just gonna go on the black pill. The whole reason why she's not dating me right now is because polyamory and all this, when that's not necessarily true. The whole reason she didn't date me was because I was just being a fucking loser. And the sooner people in the black pill accept that it's not society that's the problem, it's them that's the problem, the better off they'll be. Also, I know I said I was going to make only one point, but here I am rambling on, but I'm just going to make one more point. People also think that feminism is an enemy, when in reality, what feminism is doing is, they're quote unquote weakening men, but you could also look at that as a good thing, because that means you're going to have less competition. The more men that fall into the trap of being a beta, soy boy, quote unquote cuck, as these forms, these incel forms and black pill forms describe them, the better off you're gonna be, because that just means less competition for you. Because the soy boy beta cuck isn't going to get nearly as many women as you, if any woman. If he does get a woman, then you could be the one that's fucking her behind his back. You know what I mean? So it's really a matter of perspective, and you just gotta realize a lot of things. You gotta learn a lot of lessons for yourself. You gotta get out there. You gotta actually stop looking at the internet so much. You gotta get out there and you gotta do what it is you need to do to learn those lessons, get that experience, and there's really no other way around it. If you want to sit there in your room, you want to be a loser, you want to blame society for your problems the entire time, then that's your problem. That's nobody else's problem to fix. That is entirely your issue, and that is a problem that only you can fix. And a girl isn't going to fix that for you. I mean, she might teach you a lesson, but getting a girlfriend isn't going to magically fix all your problems or do any of this. It's just the wrong way of thinking. And I'm ashamed to say that I fell into that way of thinking, and it's ruined a lot of things for me. It's made me conceited. It's made me give up opportunities that I blatantly had just because I believe this, supposed black pill that isn't really as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. So, all in all, the moral of this video is use the black pill use the black pill to your advantage. Don't get infatuated with the black pill. Get out there, live your life, do whatever it is you can to improve yourself, whether that be exercising or looks maxing, as I mentioned earlier, which are two things that are gonna absolutely benefit you, especially looks maxing. If you have a poor face, then All you gotta do is look max, and you'll be good. You just have to be dedicated to what you're doing and really work hard towards the best version of yourself. I mean, think about it. It makes sense from a completely evolutionary standpoint. Do you think that a woman is gonna date some guy just because he's lonely, just because he has this quote unquote unconditional love to give to her, or you know, all this? It doesn't work like that. It truly doesn't work like that. Um, what you really gotta do, you gotta get out there and um, just actually talk to women, go on dates with women if you can, and just do whatever it is you can to get where you need to be. And then once you really start living that life, you'll start to realize how much of your time and how much of your mental energy and how much emotion you wasted on being so infatuated with this black pill that is really not as big of a deal as you think it is. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I'll probably make more videos sort of related to the topic, or just general videos about my perspective on things. And yeah, that's gonna do it. So see ya.